Morning everybody, Sunday the 28th of June, and we are out in this field of spring wheat. We've, as a family, we've just finished watching at the latest series of Clarkson's Farm, and at the same time Jack and I have been calculating our margins for this year. And there's definitely comparables between Clarkson's struggle with his drought and the effects that we felt last year. So really noticeable that some of our spring wheat, which is the crops behind me, really struggled last year. It was some of our smallest spring wheat yields on record. So I'd just like to go out and have a quick look at this crop and just have a chat through about the difference between 2026 and 2025. It's also worth having a look over my shoulder there at the field on the bank, and that is our crop of winter beans. And we introduced winter beans into this particular block because we're struggling to control the brome, especially if we are farming this low input spring wheat system. So how do we manage that? Well, we introduce some variety into the rotation, and so we looked at bringing the winter beans on. So we'll have a look at the spring wheat and then we'll zoom into the beans and have a quick comment on that. The spring wheat is out, it's fully out. Interestingly, it doesn't appear to be flowering yet. But the point I was going to make about the spring wheat is that we had 50 millimeters of rain starting the first week of June, and it's really saved this crop. And that'll be the difference between this year and 2025, is that we've had a few rain events that have really helped us. And interestingly, across the farm, there was a strip that received a one-off thunderstorm on the 2nd of June. And there was 50 millimeters of rain in that one thunderstorm. Now, I'm not sure if this field caught it because it's right on the edge of that system. But interestingly, it caught our rape. So the grape pods were still quite green. So fingers crossed, we didn't suffer too much damage. In fact, it doesn't look like any damage and the crop is still standing. But coming back to this, we've had enough rain to get it through to harvest, and in fact there's very little cracking going on. However, the same does not apply to the beans on the hillside, and as you can see, it's really going quite black now. That is a combination of the historic chocolate spot from this winter and the fact that it's pretty dry and the plants are under challenge. So we're looking at a mixed bag of harvest. Interestingly, I was watching the PX Farms videos, and James Peck was making the point that he was really unsure about calling harvest yield potential because there were so many factors in both the negative column and the positive column. And I would completely agree with him. What I will call is quality. I think the quality is going to be great this year. We've had lots of sunshine. The question is, has there been enough moisture at the right time of year? The spring wheat, I reckon that's got real potential. The high temperatures are a concern. They've really killed off the top level of the rape, and they've really made the wheat turn a bit quicker than I would have liked. So I think we've lost some yield there, but I think the quality will compensate. So then it's a combination of, with milling premiums where they are so low, if we have any issues with ergot, how we compensate for that financially. So there are some challenges. Looking forward to the combine going in. I had a crop walk through our winter barley, the heritage winter barley being grown for the Chiltern Brewery, and I think we're about 2 weeks off on there. So definitely combines and grain stalls are very much on front and centre, and more updates to follow shortly. See you soon. Bye.